Welcome to this week's Wednesday wrap-up featuring my mom, Sylvia Gordon. My Aunt Rebecca's on vacation this week, so you have me.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about some class action lawsuits against the big call centers. And I don't know, a little shot of Freude. Let's have a little fun talking about some of our biggest competitors and the problems that they are encountering. Every field agent in the country is sick of the call centers. I know we work with a lot of call centers, and call centers from small to large, but the big call centers, eHealth, GoHealth, SelectQuote, there's like 5 gigantic ones, Spring, that have, hundreds and hundreds of agents on the phone. And we field agents kind of feel like those agents make us look bad, that they're straight out of college, don't have the training. Clearly, they're not giving the customer service because these huge call centers have created a ton of complaints to Medicare. CTMs is a very dirty word in Medicare insurance because this is the burden that carriers have to deal with, which will drive their star ratings down, which drives down the amount of money they get, which drives down the benefits that we see in our markets. So complaints to Medicare are very bad. And they have been exceedingly high for one reason, and that is off of the backs of these call centers. These call centers have terrible persistency. They can put business on the books. They can call you all day long and get somebody to buy it. But can they get them to keep it? Can they explain it well enough that they're happy with it, that they bought the right plan, and that they are not calling Medicare to complain? And the answer to that clearly has been no. So we'll see the changes that they are trying to enact right now. They are telling their stockholders that they're putting all this customer service in place, and they're doing all kinds of other community outreach programs. What SelectQuote's doing and GoHealth, they're all different, but they're similar. They're trying to have a stickier sale. They're trying to hopefully replicate what we do in the field, is like have a relationship with these people. I don't think the model that they're going to implement is going to work. But not to be a naysayer, let's give them a chance on that. In the meantime, I do think that it is funny. Okay, call me petty. I do think it's funny petty. What they did. Because what they did is, so GoHealth, when they went public, boom, their stock was flying high, and we know all the GoHealth guys. And I'll say there was no love lost between us and GoHealth, what they've done in the industry the last couple of years. So their stock, boom, stock darling. They're making so much money. Everybody's happy. And now look at the cliff they fell off. Year to date, they're down 60%. Their last quarter earnings hurt. And that's because they put all the business on. It was great, but none of the business stayed on. Or, well, I wouldn't say none. They had a tremendous amount fall off and come back to field brokers, come back to somebody that they can see and touch and trust that lives in a community like them. So the field isn't dead yet. You guys have predicted our demise for many years. And one of the largest insurance companies, one of the senior vice presidents told me 8 years ago that we would be dead in 5 years. Still here. Still here. This is GoHealth. So they're getting sued for securities violations. Violation of the Securities Act, because they misled their investors. So there's a big class action lawsuit. If you do own stock in GoHealth, I'm sure you've been contacted by the dozens of law firms that are going after them. Now, let's talk about SelectQuote, basically the same boat. SelectQuote, also class action lawsuit. The deadline to get in is October 15th. Call any of the attorneys online if you own stock in SelectQuote. But it's the same thing. How they get in this trouble? It's because they sold investors an inflated value of a Medicare Advantage plan. They said if we sell one Medicare Advantage plan, it's worth this much money because that client will stay on the books this many years, and we really only do service the first year. So we don't have any labor costs that we have to subtract from this equation past the first year. We just sell it and it just stays on, and boom, we make tons of money. And there's 11,000 people a day. And this narrative that they sold to their investors, they sold to Wall Street, was grossly inflated. And we were all sitting there going, the long-term value on these policies is not what they are telling their investors, but whatever, they're making bank. They're all sailing off into the universe, super rich. They're smarter than us, right? They were, because finally it caught up with them, which we knew it would. And like I said, we know a lot of these people in these positions, so I don't wish anybody to go to jail. But the math was funky, okay? The accounting style, that they switched to is just meant to inflate the numbers artificially, and it's not a true representation of what we do in the space, what the persistency is in the space, and the crows are coming home to roost right now. So a little Schadenfreude. We all, we're not above, like, we're not friends with the large call centers, right? So it's okay. I said I'm petty. It's okay. It's okay. I know I'm supposed to be above that. If you're above that, I'm sorry you had to listen to this episode. But if you're not, if you secretly have had a distaste growing for these big call centers that are misleading clients that then are gone after the sale, that you can never talk to them again, that you have clients that are then coming to you saying, hey, what did I do? My doctor's not even in this network, or what, if you're like me that have had to deal with all this, kind of feels a little good. Now, if you are a call center, especially if you're a call center that works with Gordon Marketing, and your dream was to sell out and make bank the way these guys did, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that every call center, regardless of your size, and we work with call centers as little as 5 agents all the way up to the mega ones with hundreds of agents. You have to have persistency. You can't just sell it. You can't rest on your laurels about all the cases that you put on the books. Right. Because what matters in this business is how many cases stay on the books. And if you don't have a persistency plan, a retention plan that's as robust as your sales plan, you're going to end up in the same trouble. You're not going to get sued because you're not violated a federal law, but the carriers are going to get mad at you. You could lose your carrier contract. And of course, you're not making money. If it doesn't stay on the books, you're not making money, okay? And I've dealt with a lot of those guys that brag to me how much they put on. I don't care how much you put on. How much did you make? And you won't make money in this business, whether you're a call center or you're a field agent, if you can't keep your client happy on the books. And that's why we have lots of ideas for retention. And some of it's as easy as, your newsletter is just more touches. Margaret does the newsletter. She doesn't want to talk.
Nope.
But that's okay. But she sends out the newsletter. You don't write the newsletter, but she sends out the newsletter. We aggregate all this information. More touches with your client. That's a simple way to build persistency, just more touches. Because a lot of agents, unfortunately, have told me over the years, when I ask them what the retention strategy is, and they go, they need me, they call me. They all have my card. I give everybody 3 cards. Bad. That's not a retention strategy. I mean, that's good. 3 cards is better than 1 card. But waiting to play defense is not a way to build your business. You have to be, I don't want to say offensive because that has double meaning. You have to play offense and go out there and be touching your clients, rooting out the problem before there is a problem. A lot of the people that are upset, it's because of all this information and misinformation they're hearing constantly in the media and social media. And sometimes it's just going out there and telling them what's going on, what's not going on, what to fear, what not to fear. And again, that's just more touches. That's more communication with them, which you could do by ringless voicemail. You can do by a client newsletter. A lot of people still do plain old newsletters where they mail out a paper newsletter. You can do text messaging, There's a lot of things that you can use technology to get mass messages out to your clients to keep them from being upset or worried or just leaving you, just walking away. So that's all I have in this Wednesday wrap up. You can Google all this stuff and get more details. I just gave you a tiny little slice of what's going on. Have a great week.